Mitchell.
Chair, I rise on behalf of New Zealand First to take a call on this bill, the Immigration Amendment Bill number 2. And it's probably no surprise to the Minister that New Zealand First doesn't support this bill, and we can't support it. Although we don't commend and we have a lot of sympathy for those temporary migrant workers who are being exploited, and we have a lot of sympathy for those illegal temporary migrant workers that have been exploited, as we have a big issue with any worker in New Zealand being exploited. So we'd just like to talk and explain to you the issues that we have. And as early as today, there was a media release, and I'm sure Mr Young was speaking to the same one that I'm speaking to. There was a fine that was given out to a restaurant up in Auckland for exploiting some workers, but these were illegal migrant workers. And these workers had been taken some serious advantage of. And the interesting point here is this outfit, this organisation, really couldn't be fined because, of course, they've gone into liquidation now. It's not the first time that this has taken place. This situation is continuing throughout New Zealand at the time that New Zealand is having some major internal issues of its own around employment. At the moment, we've got 138,000 jobs temporary migrant workers in the country, 54,000 working holiday visas per annum, and another 100,000 student visas with expanding working. Now, we're approaching, if you include the illegal temporary migrant workers or the illegal migrant workers, close to 400,000 workers coming to this country temporarily, I might add. We're not talking about migrants that are moving to New Zealand and for the benefit of long-term looking after their families, as Mr Young mentioned, that the money would stay in the country. This money goes out of our country. This money goes back at the end of their seasonal work they're picking to the other countries. And we have some serious issues. When we have got an unemployment rate of 143,000 people, this bill does nothing to help get those workers, New Zealanders, into those jobs. And the biggest issue that we've got, this bill does not attack or in any way mitigate the issue of closing the borders to those people that are coming in here to take advantage of our generosity, our hospitality and our open arm policy of immigration. This bill needs to address the issue and taking closer consideration and taking a deeper, harder look at those people that are coming here. I mean, just as recent as October last year, there was a case in Tauranga where we had a whole group of temporary migrant workers that were over here to do some kiwi fruit picking that had the similar issue of exploitation, being paid between $5 to $7 per hour. 8 people living in a shack with 1 toilet. They were promised food, they were promised suitable accommodation, they were promised clothing and got none of it. Now, these people came to New Zealand First where they were actually assisted to get themselves, they wanted to go back home to Fiji. They didn't want to be here anymore. But this is what's been going on for such a long time. Now, we want to reiterate that this is in no way New Zealand First supporting this sort of exploitation, but a lot more could be done with this legislation at our border control areas. If we can control the entry points into our country, we're going to have a lot more control over what's going on within our country. And we need to be looking at incentivising and offering opportunities for the youth. I mean, Northland's a very, very topical point at the moment. The unemployment rate up in Northland is much higher than anywhere else in the country. And if we could incentivise, like we have in Christchurch, by getting some of these people some money to get themselves down to areas where there is work required for them to do, get them trained, get them upskilled, these are the sorts of things that we need to be doing for the betterment of New Zealand and for the betterment of our country people. As far as the exploitation goes, I reiterate that again. We are in no way condoning that. We sympathise with these people that have come here to the land of milk and honey, the land of opportunity to get themselves ahead, but it doesn't help New Zealand or New Zealanders. We need to do more to look after those people. The prevention is by far the best cure in this situation. We've got here, we can understand why so many people want to move here because, and certainly come and work here. We've got great weather, we've got fantastic opportunities for jobs, but we've got to get back to the most important issue, is getting our 143,000 unemployed workers out there taking up some of these jobs. Thank you, Mr Chair. We can't support this bill going through. Thank you.
But before I call the next member, I'm just going to remind the House that we're in a relatively broad committee stage because there are big amendments on it. But we are in the committee stages. The principles have been accepted. We're not doing a second reading debate. And I think all of the last four of the speakers have not really spent much time considering the clauses of the bill, which is the purpose of this debate.